What's up, Sarah? How's it going, you fetchers? IAmPattyJack. This is Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. What is it? Is it good? Let's find out. So, I got early access to this game. I say early access. I pre-ordered it the last day before it came out because I wanted to play it. You can chastise me if you want, but hey, if I hadn't done that, you wouldn't be getting this content early, right? So, let's talk about ESO Morrowind. See if it's worth it or not. So over the last few days, I've been going ham on this game. I've completed most of the content in the DLC, or the expansion, I guess they're calling it. Like the main story, and I've done some of the Battlegrounds, PvP stuff. I've done most of the major quest areas in the game, like all the different towns and stuff. I think there's only like 1 or 2 quests I have left to do in the entire area that I'm aware of, so yeah, there's been a lot. So, the footage you're seeing right now is from pretty early on when I was playing. Since then, I've gotten some really neat-looking gear, some very Morrowind-specific gear, some glass armor, some chitin armor. Got myself a new, like, set of gear and stuff. Overall, the gear is really, really, really good-looking, for the most part. I got some ancient elf pauldrons. Those still look terrible. Worst looking thing in the game, sans maybe the Imperial pauldrons, which are like ridiculously big for your character for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why it's still like that. That kind of confuses me. So, alright, let's talk a little bit about the expansion and the price point, because that's my first major gripe about it. It took me roughly 3 to 4 days of, playing this game for a while. I've probably played about 20 hours of it. And I've done most of the content aside from getting super into the PvP and doing like the group dungeons and stuff. So if you're expecting me to go in depth about like super crazy MMO stuff, this is not the review for you, so you can leave right now, because I play this game mostly to do the PvE, to do the main storylines, and I'm not really a big MMO person. This is mostly geared towards people who kind of play MMOs or played ESO back on the launch period and then weren't super impressed and maybe have been thinking about coming back to it for this. So, yeah. Yeah, the price point for this one, $50. I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably not worth it for the content that you get. Basically, you get a new zone. It's slightly bigger than most of the zones. There's a lot of little areas and quests and stuff, but it is like the same format as the other zones. There's no dolmens in this one or anything. This takes place after the main story, after you've, well, spoiler alert, beaten Molag Bal. So, I don't know if you figure that's going to be a spoiler. It's kind of the whole point of the main quest line that you figure out at the start of it. And, yeah, what they've done in this area, though, is they've incorporated a lot of the upgrades and the DLC stuff. I was getting so impatient when I was playing through this part. The guy, he wouldn't go away. The nice thing is they've taken stuff from like the Thieves Guild, like mechanics like sneaking around and hiding in places, which still isn't super engaging, but it kind of varies up the content. And they've combined that stuff into this entire expansion. So they have fleshed out some of the mechanics. There's different types of quests you can do. And that's really nice to see. But aside from that, I mean, the main quest line is roughly only 4 to 5 missions, and they can take a while, but they don't take a while in a way that's super engaging. Rather, they take a while in a way that's like, hey, go to this point on the map, and then, oh, look, there's another point. There's another, like, rock you have to go and look at over there. It's way on the other side of the map, not near any way shrine that you've found yet. You better go there, too. And that gets really irritating, and it happens quite a bit in this expansion. It feels like it was pretty rushed out of the gate, out of the door, like it was the one relative that ZeniMax really didn't want at Thanksgiving. So they were like, yeah, okay, Thanksgiving dinner's done now. Get out the door. Just leave. We'll see you next year. That's what this feels like. If that makes any sense to you or not, I don't know. But yeah, there's stuff that isn't fleshed out. Like I said, the main story only like 4 or 5 missions long, really. And while the missions do take a while, they take a while for all the wrong reasons. So yeah, the content on offer, probably not worth $50. Maybe, like, check it out when it drops down to 30. But that being said, there is a decent amount of new content. Of course, the new Warden class, I haven't really played around with that thing either. But from what I hear, the Warden is interesting. I guess not super suitable for, like, PvP, but for PvE, that might be a good, like, it'll be good, like, fresh way to jump in the water, fresh way to play the game a little bit, so you might enjoy that a lot more. I will say that there's a lot of really cool new items and gear and other stuff like that too. The world, the zone itself, is really neat. There's some very interesting side stories that go on in this area. The main quest itself is kind of boring, in my opinion, but there were a couple more lengthy side quests in places like Balmora and some of the Tells. I don't know if you call them Tells or not. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on there with the characters. There's some returning characters. There's some completely new ones as well. You get a lot of good loot. I mean, the quests can be long. They can send you on wild goose hunts quite often, but usually the ones that do that, you get some good rewards at the end, like a really good piece of gear, or you'll get like an extra skill points, or I got a house furnishing as well. I think there's only one of those, but you can get one of those. There's at least 3 to 4 different costumes that you can unlock just by playing through it. You don't have to buy them with crowns or anything, so that's kind of nice. There could be more that I haven't discovered yet. I don't know. And that's kind of cool. One of the costumes is basically the Dark Elf equivalent of Batman, so that's kind of my favorite one. However, at this point, I was running around with my cool little bug helmet, and I liked that, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know, like, I say there's not a whole lot of content on offer, and it's not really worth the price. But at the same time, I've been playing it nonstop, and part of that is because I've gotten really into ESO over the last month and a half, because I came back to it after not playing it for almost a year, and my god, this game is a lot better in general. So, more so than me recommending Morrowind, I think I would just recommend if you played ESO when it first came out and didn't like it, or you saw bad reviews for it, give it a try now. Even if you're only doing the vanilla content, there's still more than enough there. They opened up the entire game so that you can go anywhere in the vanilla world for any of the factions after you do, like, the tutorial area. So, if you don't like the area you're in, just go to the Alakir Desert, or go somewhere else. Do all the quests there. All the places scale to your level and everything, so yeah, you have complete freedom, and that's really nice to see in like an MMO. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd recommend Morrowind unless you really, really, really want to play it. And let's be honest, if you were already interested in it, you probably bought the early access. But if you sometimes dabble in ESO and you're not sure if you want to like you know, get your money out for it, probably just go back to it and play through the vanilla content. It's virtually the same. There isn't that much new stuff in, like, the world. Like, all the assets are the same. Very similar enemies, like returning enemies and mobs. So, you're not missing out on a whole lot besides gear, really. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this should have been marketed as a DLC, because that's really what it feels like. In fact, I kind of preferred the Hrothgar DLC to this entire expansion. But, you know, whatever. I'll live with it. Okay, so if anyone else has played it, or they know any other info that they want to get out there, please let me know in the comments. I would super appreciate if you could do that. And if you have any words and stuff are hard today, Jesus. If you have any other comments that you want to leave, let me know what they are in the comments as well. And if you want to continue the discussion, talk to me on Twitter, or join my Discord server. Those are 2 different places you can go and talk to me anytime you want to. IAmPattyJack. I know nothing about MMOs, but I like Elder Scrolls, so I had to talk about this. I'll see you next time.